Trump is still upset with the fact that Democratic senators tried to tell members of the military, you're not supposed to follow illegal orders. It is your responsibility not to follow illegal orders. And that's really important. The most important thing is that Trump gives illegal orders. Like, let's take, for example, the sinking of the ships in the Gulf. So were those illegal orders or not? We're about to find out. And you want to know why? Because the family members of the people that were on those boats and the companies that owned those boats are suing the United States for sinking those ships, which is going to force the United States to have to disclose exactly what the orders were. Because when a nation sends its navy to go sink a ship in peacetime, it is an illegal criminal act. Unless, of course, that country can prove that there were no other options but to sink the ship, that they had no other choice. So here is the reality. Here is what happens when it comes to sinking ships, a military sinking a ship wrongfully. First of all, the damages will be to the company for the value of the ship, the lost revenue, the lost income of the loss of those ships and the money that it was making from those ships. Then comes the other one. Because the people died, under maritime law, now again, this will not be in United States courtrooms. These will be in international maritime law. So this can be like anywhere in the world because maritime law is international law at sea. So when those people were killed, they have the ability to seek damages for wrongful death from the United States. Among these losses can be losses of financial support, all the people that they were being supported, loss of service, loss of companionship, guidance, and care, funeral and burial expenses, loss of inheritance, loss of fringe benefits. This can include things like pain and suffering from the survivors, and medical expenses. All of these things is what the United States will pay if it cannot prove that the sinking of those ships was absolutely necessary and that there was no other option. And those who died on those ships were just necessary because there was no other choice. The United States is about to experience exactly what it is to follow an illegal order. Because if the sinking of those ships turns out that the United States cannot defend it under U.S. maritime law, it is going to pay an enormous amount of money to those families and to the companies that owned those ships. Because you have to have real legal justification to sink a ship in peacetime. And that is only the beginning. We are still moving forward on the cases here within the United States of the president sending United States armed forces onto American streets, trying to usurp the power of the state National Guards to be able to send them into American cities, which at least several judges have said is a violation of the Posse Comitatus Act. It is very, very important. Yes, if you are in the military, you need to be cautious about this. And I don't as much blame the soldier as much as I blame the president and the people who gave these orders. Normally in these type of situations, there is right next to the president or the people who are in the Situation Room or whatever, people who are giving these orders, there is a JAG officer. There is the Department of Justice. And it is trying to it tells the president or it tells whomever is ordering those boats to be sunk to what maritime law is, what our legal requirements are, because we will face blowback. The United States is about to face an enormous amount of blowback. Because even though, like, our media might not cover the maritime law cases that are covering. I guarantee you, every single person who uses the ocean, every sailor, every person who has a boat is going to be following this, because it's rather or not, the United States Navy can just shoot a missile or a rocket or whatever and sink your boat. What happens if the United States Navy does that? And that is going to cover pretty much everything. So yes, the United States is in trouble because of those sinkings of those ships, because those cases are moving forward. And they will not be able to be blocked here in the United States. They're part of international maritime law that every nation has followed ever since we started sailing. Like, share, subscribe, debate. Please try to tell me how the United States' sinking of those vessels was necessary, that there was no other alternative other than to sink the ships and kill everyone on board. How is sending the United States military into American cities in violation of the Posse Comitatus Act? Those are illegal orders. That's what we're dealing with. So like, share, subscribe, and let's debate. Thank you much.